welcome to this podcast, Fits Your Macros. It's us once again, me, Kayleen, the macro queen, and across the way, I've got a black screen, but it's actually Ryan, the Gains Master Milton.
Yeah,
how are you doing, Ryan?
I'll be making a return to the video here. I gotta fix my computer, but
he actually turned into a ghost is what happened. It's just the spirit of Ryan recording.
Well, I'm the ghost of bodybuilding past is what I am. I'm just hovering around, checking everybody's fucking macros and seeing if you're skipping any reps in the gym and shit. That's, But no, I'm doing good. It's another, what the hell day is it? Tuesday? I never know what day it is, except for I do because you harassed me enough about this damn podcast that I remember it's Tuesday. I'm like, oh, it must be Monday today because here I am with Kayleen hitting me 48 messages in every platform in America and actually probably the world, maybe the moon. And here we are. So
did you get my carrier pigeon too?
Not yet. I think I did see somebody shot one of those down though. So that might have been,
damn it. I might not do that one next time.
Poor pigeons.
I know. Anyway, I'm doing good here. I mean, I can't believe August is almost over. That's like wild. This year is flying.
Yeah. I think we have a few things to check in on. But first, before anybody clicks out, because we're fucking around, what are we talking about today? Let's give people the insight there.
You're always keeping us on track. We are talking about refeed meals and who and when and why and how and everything about the refeed. So that's on today's episode.
This is a big episode, people. You want to hear this. You got to know this. Refeeds.
Yes.
Another term for this, by the way, is cheat meals and shit, right?
Yes.
Same kind of thing. So if you're like, what the fuck is a refeed? You'll find out. But also consider cheat meal, cheat day,
flex meal, whatever you want to call it, like not eating a meal on your diet.
Another one is free meal. Free meal. That's another one. Free meal.
Yes.
Untracked meal. There's so many fucking terms for the same thing. It's kind of ridiculous. But that's what we're talking about today, people. But first, Kayleen, before we get there, I think you should update people on because we talked a little bit about your certification last time. And you had just started it. Now it's over somehow. And it's only one episode later. So
does my brain look bigger?
I think it does, actually. It does. I think you're going to need like a...
down with the stick band.
You're going to have to trim your skull back or something so that you can just allow for extra brain to come out.
Man, I tell you, I have a very obsessive personality. So if I get into something, I fucking get into that shit hard.
Yeah.
And obviously all the shit I was very much into. And I just spend pretty much every waking second going over the material and learned so much, got so excited about it. And so now I'm done. And by the time this airs, I will be able to help all of you discover the underlying causes to everything that's ailing you. I will not be able to cure, diagnose, treat anything. But as we know, the body works in an equilibrium type of state. So if something's throwing the body out of equilibrium, it can cause so many different symptoms. But basically, I will have a lot of access to test anything that could possibly be underlying. We can correct it and we can get you living your best life. And I will be doing some more info about that over the next week. So if you're not following me on Instagram, it's CAILEAN_TEAMFFLEX. Because you're going to remember that.
Or just find me and go find a picture of her on the page. Because there's a link there. And she's fucking everywhere, people. It's everywhere. But that's cool. So, I mean, basically you're supposed to do this over a term of a longer time, right? Like how long is it supposed to take?
3 to 6 months for...
Yeah, 3 to 6 months.
Actually... minimum 6 months for what I did, but I just
And then this is how crazy Kayleen is, everybody listening. She went to the people that put this cert out, and she's like, "Can I have the shit that is months down the road now today? Because I'm done, I'm ready." And they said yes, I guess, right, something like that. So she is blasted through this shit, and it was only one episode ago we were talking about this. And if you did not sign up with her during that time, you've missed the chance. But the stuff she's doing. It's going to be pretty crazy, people. It's not the normal. It's not the norm. You're not going to find many trainers. Walk up to every trainer in your gym and ask them if they have any type of nutrition, anything. And most of them probably don't, right? Most of these trainers just got basic certifications. They don't have any nutrition, let alone the ability to do all the crazy shit I can't even do the crazy shit you're about to be doing. I'm just a fucking, now I'm just a bump on a goddamn log over here. And you're taking over the gut testing and all this, so
gut testing, hormone testing, inflammation testing. Let's see what else. Yes. Heavy metal testing. I myself, I'm running myself through the heavy metal testing, the inflammation testing, which is going to test my omega-6 to omega-9s, or sorry, omega-6 to omega-3s, and then I'm also doing the organic acids test, which is basically going to tell me, long story, if you've been listening, I have gut issues. I know I have gut issues. So I'm actually in the middle of a Candida protocol or a CBO protocol, Candida bacterial overgrowth protocol. Talk about that another time because that's a whole nother whatever. But anyway, so this test is going to officially see whether I have, yeast, bacterial overgrowth, mold, or, like how I'm metabolizing my vitamins as well. So maybe I'm metabolizing things too well or maybe not enough. So super excited. If that's something you guys want to see, I will share all of my results on one of these podcasts. If you're interested, comment below. Like, I don't care. I'm an open book. I talked about
we'll talk about it. Because Kayleen always takes a very scientific approach, people. She is actually a scientist in many ways. Right? Well, now I think you kind of reopened the door here now with this shit, but we'll figure it out. But at the end of the day, if you're listening, you're like, what the fuck did she just say? Which I know a bunch of you probably like, what? Some kind of acid test? What? Here's the thing. If you have a hard time getting results, or you feel like you're doing a lot of work and you're not getting results, or you just feel like, I got problems going on with some part of my body or my life, it's probably some shit that we, Kayleen can test for and see what's going on and give you some answers. Because literally, this is the thing, right? And we talked about this. We've been talking about this certification she's been doing, me and her, like on and off for whatever amount of time, probably every day since. But, we were talking about how, like, literally this type of thing, the stuff that she's learned and is going to be able to, do stuff with, you could literally not go to the fucking gym, right? You could literally in a capacity and get some good results because of the stuff. Like, people don't understand the stuff that's holding back in their bodies. And it sounds like we're making this episode about this, but we're not. So it's time to cut it off. But literally, we'll do more content on that, and stay tuned and make sure you're following because there's more stuff coming. But
yes.
Wow. All right. I'm off track today. Too much fucking pre-workout. Destroying my gut with pre-workout. But no worries.
I've been caffeine free for weeks now.
I bet you have. Get the hell away from me.
Anyway, I've got the latest.
Oh, shit. Good thing you brought that up. I almost just dived right in. So, okay.
How dare you? That would do the people a huge disservice. But I made my semi-annual Trader Joe's little pilgrimage. I don't usually go to Trader Joe's because there's like 20 different grocery stores I pass on the way to Trader Joe's, and I just get too lazy. But my daughter was like, can we go to Trader Joe's? So I was like, sure. And I had seen these. It's called the tiniest chocolate chip cookies on Instagram. And I was like, all right, chocolate chip cookies in the name. I got to show you how tiny these things are. They are adorable. Hold on. Oh, shit. Just dropped on my keyboard. Can you see how tiny cute these are?
It looks like a piece of cereal or something.
Yeah, it's literally tiny little
small
things. And I don't know why, but I was like, I need to have these in my life. So I bought them. Let's go over the macros. Serving size is 1/3 of a cup or 26 grams. So, like, I don't know. I'm not going to guess. 4 grams of fat, 20 grams of carbs for 1/3 of a cup of these, and 2 grams of protein. They're very cute, but no, not enough bang for the buck. It's like a shitty Famous Amos cookie because, like, you don't get enough chocolate to cookie ratio. So
what the hell a Famous Amos is, but
what?
You are the cookie expert. Literally, as far as my knowledge of cookie goes, it goes like chocolate chip, peanut butter, oatmeal. I'm out. That's it. That's all I got. So,
you've never had the Famous Amos cookies that came in the bag, the yellow bag? Your parents probably cared about you and your health.
I don't even know how to fucking look this up. Famous Amos?
Yeah, AM. O-S.
Is that what you're saying? A-M. Okay, let me see. A-M.
Not anus. Just kidding. Don't look up famous anus. I don't think you want to see that.
Oh, no, wait. I have seen these. Yeah, I've seen these at the gas station or something. But nope, have not eaten them.
That was like a childhood staple of mine. But like, and those were okay. Like now that I'm grown up, I don't like hard chocolate chip cookies. And that's what these are. They're hard. They're not soft.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe, you know what? You should put them in a bowl and put some milk over them and eat them that way and see if it works better as cereal.
It would probably be better that way, but I'm going to have to wait 3 weeks until I get a little refeed to try anything else.
Yeah, beyond that. Well, give them to Maura, then she can do it.
Actually, I'll have Brad taste test and see if the bowl of cereal. I'll have to have him put on the bikini, though, for the podcast.
Brad. Yeah, that's true. Yes, you would, actually. You should do that. If you want to see Brad in a bikini, comment on the show notes wherever you are. And it'll happen because Kaylee's got a lot of them. I'll tell you that.
Yes.
All right.
Very persuasive.
So,
okay.
What's the rating? What's the rating before we go? Like it's a 0,
oh, man.
It's a 1?
4. No,
4.
I wouldn't buy.
Wow.
Make your own.
Make your own. Make your own mini cookie. That's your new challenge. Let's see that on Instagram this week. Mini cookie recipe that you can't eat.
Yeah. That'd be such a time suck, too. But no. Make your own real full-ass size chocolate chip cookies.
Full-ass cookie. That's it. That's all you need. Not the minis, the full. All right. So, refeeds then.
Whew.
So,
yes.
That was the longest intro we've ever done before getting to the point. Sorry, people. But thanks for listening. Make sure you follow and subscribe. But refeeds. Let's start with what a refeed is, what people need to know about it. And then we'll get into, do you need one or whatever.
Okay. So as we kind of mentioned earlier in the intro, obviously when you are following a nutrition plan, you're staying pretty on course with everything, tracking your macros, making sure you're hitting, in our app, it's like gold stars all the way down. Mm-hmm. But a refeed meal is just a meal or a cheat, free meal, whatever you want, a meal where you don't give a goddamn shit about whatever the fuck macros are in your meal. You're just
all
going.
All the fucks have flown away.
All the fucks, they've just left the building, and you are just having one meal where you can just enjoy it and and you would probably pick something that you're not going to eat every single day. So we've talked a lot on the show about how my diet is relatively low fat. Well, if I'm going for a refeed and I'm not thinking about macros at all, I'm getting a fucking steak or, burger, something that I wouldn't stereotypically eat because, I wouldn't want it to suck all my macros out.
Yeah, 6 weeks of total fat in one meal is what it is.
Pretty much. But, we, by nature, we love these things that are heavy fat, heavy carb. Like we are engineered to love these things because our body uses these things as energy. So you smell French fries. What are they? French fries are fats and carbs. And your brain is just I fucking want that right now. And it's because, we use both of those things. Fats are used for a lot of hormones. Your cell walls are all made of, fatty acids. And carbs, we all know carbs power us. Now, protein is used for muscle building, of course, but I feel like there's very few people who are like, oh yeah, protein, I am one of those weird ass people, but not a lot of people just drool over the thought of chicken, which I'm actually salivating thinking about that right now. But anyway.
Yeah.
So that's refeed meal.
I was thinking about chicken at the same. I was rotisserie chicken sounds real good right now, as you said it. Like a whole chicken. Just eat the whole fucking thing. See how much fat's in that? That's a lot of fat. I used to do that every day. But post-workout, fucking walk down to the grocery store from the gym I worked at and eat a whole fucking chicken. And everybody was like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? Because I was working the desk while I was doing it. People did not get it. People were not. But you know what? That's the prequel to what's today. Anyway, so yeah, the refeed, that's good. What are the benefits though, right? What actually could happen? Because obviously there's some physical and some mental kind of benefits you could talk about, I would say most diets, even the crazy diets that are on the internet, these kind of fad diets and shit, they still have, refeed type protocols and things like that at some point. So pretty much everyone's probably done it, but if you haven't or you just don't understand what the benefits are, the science, it goes a lot further than I really want a fucking cookie. So maybe highlight some of those things, Kaylee.
Yeah. So you know, one, eating the same foods over and over and over and over and over and over and over is not the best thing for your body. Your body needs diversity, but it also needs to be in a nice controlled manner. So when we implement these refeeds, not only is your body getting a different type of food, maybe you're adding some different fruits and vegetables too that you don't normally eat, but it's also giving your body a little bit of a boost of calories too. And it's really awesome if you can stack your refeeds with like a heavy leg day or something like that. But honestly, that little boost, especially when you're in a growing phase, is really nice because you can keep your calories like on the, not on the lower end, but I know for personally me in improvement season, I don't want to blow up. My calories are a decent amount. I'm not starving, that's for sure, but they're not like 5,000 calories like they used to be when I was teaching like 7 group fitness classes a week. So incorporating this one like epic cheat meal, refeed meal a week allows my overall calories to be a little bit higher while still keeping it nice and neat during the week. Because for me personally, again, I have a lot of food sensitivities, gut issues that if I just like ate so much every single day, I would not feel good in my belly, to be honest. But now it's like I have one day where I really get a nice meal with my husband, with my family, and you know, we get a little bit of an influx in the scale, maybe because I'm eating more, you know, sodium or maybe, you know, foods I'm not used to eating. But like when I get back to it, it's like, shoot, sometimes they even drop lower. And that can be used in preps too sometimes. Your body just like freaking eats the shit out of that up. And then you end up like setting your metabolism a little bit more on fire because you can very much so get stagnant in your metabolism as well. So that's another little way to rev the metabolism. Usually the next day after a refeed, you're like starving because your body is like, oh yeah, give me more. And then it's just like, that's like, I feel like feedback that you hit your refeed great because your body is just like ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of basically kicking up results, whether you're in improvement season or, you know, even a prepper diet, anybody out there that's not competing, this is relevant to you too. You know, if you're doing any fitness shit, this can be advantageous, but only if you do it correctly, because it can also be very fucking detrimental. Like I've seen people that say, you know, I went on vacation, it was a 2-week refeed or 2-week cheat meal, it was good. No. Hold that shit up, you know? Like day 1 might have been all right, and then the remaining 13 days of you eating like a fucking pack mule that's about to walk across the Sahara Desert and try to survive through the conditions does not really help you. You know, it kind of hurts you. So people do it wrong, and there is a way. There's many different ways to kind of do it. But I think that before we talk about how to do it and all that, we kind of got to go into what you were kind of bringing this all up for, Kayleen, is how do you kind of know if you deserve it, right? Like, in what situations do you need it? What types of people need it? Let's start notching people off the list. You start with the first one.
Well, before we go into that, I totally skipped the mental benefits of a refeed in the other benefits.
Good point.
There are huge. Circling back, we're rewinding a little bit. The mental benefits of a refeed are just insane. Okay. If you are really slaying your diet, hitting your macros to a T, it is so nice to just shut it off, like not even think about the macros and just enjoy and live in the moment. Like I was telling you earlier today, I had a whole weekend. I was about to go into this really strict protocol for the next 21 days, or actually it's the next 3 months actually, but really, really strict these next 21 days. And I took the whole weekend off of tracking and I just lived in the moment and it was so refreshing. Like, I had a barbecue and it was just so nice to, you know, graze at the barbecue and not be like, oh, how many chips did I just eat? Is that a serving of chips? Is that 2 servings of chips?
Is that 12 chips or was that 14? Uh-oh.
Did I eat the whole container of that guacamole? How many serving sizes was that? No, but I didn't go crazy, but I did enjoy myself. And having days like that, because, you know, we do live in a different lifestyle. Chances are, if you're leading a healthy life, I would say 60 to 70% of your friends and family are not, and you are looked as the weird one in the situation. And so even though we're doing what's best for our bodies and our long-term health, it's still looked at as weird. It's, you know, if you're not digging into all the goodies and snacks, it's like you do get kind of alienated. So having, if you're having a family get together and you're using that as your refeed and you're allowed to just, not allowed, but you give yourself permission to eat what, everybody else in the world is eating. It's just nice every once in a while, but me personally, I don't like wasting my refeed days on my family's food because it's usually not that good. So I'm fine bringing my own food to family gatherings. I know. My family doesn't listen to this podcast, so I can badmouth them all I want.
They will now because I'm going to clip this out. It's at 20 minutes and 20 seconds and I'm sending it.
No, I love my family, but unless my brother's cooking, it's just not worth wasting.
I'm pretty sure your brother's the only guy I couldn't send it to because he's the only one that's not in our training app, but that's all right.
It's true. But yes. So I don't know if you have anything to add on the mental benefits of, refeed.
I mean, it's good for competitors and stuff like that. Depending how serious your diet is, it just becomes easier to get a break and be able to recharge and use it like that in those situations. So that's definitely one type of person, that might need it. But let's see if we go deeper into this, how do you know you deserve it? How do you know you need it? And what kind of markers should people be looking for? Because I'm assuming most of these people listening to us, might not have a coach, might not have anybody telling them, hey, it's time for a refeed. And if they do, they might have a coach that, like the guy that I said is at the fucking gym that doesn't know shit. So maybe your coach doesn't know shit about refeeds. But let's give you some tips and some pointers. So give me one type of person that would need one. And what kind of markers would we see that would indicate that?
The type of person that usually needs one is very, very type A, hitting their goals every single day without a doubt, very regimented. And you can kind of see when they'll need a refeed. Maybe you'll see, if, especially their competitor, they're getting a little flat and we don't want them to be flat. You can give them a refeed. Or if they're stalling out sometimes it's just you need a little boost to be like, hey, go have an untracked meal, have fun with it. And I tell you what, when you tell your clients to go have an untracked meal, it's like you just gave them $1 million. Like, what? These people that are regimented, they're like, oh, I can go. And it's like, yeah, you can go. And they're like, well, what should I eat? I'm like, what the fuck you want to eat? I don't know. It's an untracked meal. You go get what you want. I'm not telling you what to eat here.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, think of that meal you desire and you just go for it. And sometimes that little bump is just enough to get them over that plateau. And before you know it, they're going down in their weight again if that's their goal. Of course, if they're a weight gain client, if you want to be, getting more muscle, I have some athletes that do two refeed meals a week just because, again, we want to keep the calories a decent amount during the week so they're not just so uncomfortable during the week, but they have 2 meals where they're not thinking about it. And, that's really nice for the mental and the physical as well. But who am I missing in these categories of people who need a refeed?
I mean, a fuck ton of people at this point. No, just kidding. I got a lot of people, though. Yeah, so here's some examples I can think of, right? So someone who's been long-term dieting, if that's you, if you're one of these people that have tried every fad diet that has come out over the past 5-10 years and you have been doing it on and off because you start and you do it for a while and then you fail. And, basically you're in the spot where you've probably jacked up a lot of stuff and your metabolism, your hormones, you probably should do Kayleen testing. But if you're not going to do that right now, which, it's okay. The refeed could be something that you might be able to implement to actually get some different kind of progress moving, right? So that's one person, right? Because the metabolism slows down, hormones start to go tomfoolery fuckery on you, and now, getting back with some type of a process where you might have refeeds and stuff like that can actually put you into a spot where you might be able to come up with a diet that's consistent instead of doing the fad shit and falling off. And also it can, refire, like you said, refire up some hormones, metabolism, stuff like that, keep you on track better. So that's good. Other people, like the muscle gain people like you were just talking about, if you have a lagging body part, you competitors out there, right? You got an area of your physique that just ain't building right. You're one of these bikini and wellness chicks, and you're like, damn, my glutes just ain't growing right. You're one of these guys that, trying to do men's physique or classic with them tiny delts. You're like, damn, my delts ain't big enough. Well, here's what you can do. You can program your training day to correlate with the day you do this kind of refeed, this cheat meal, this stuff like that. And those calories and all that shit, if you do this right, can really go a long way to actually building some new muscle right there in that moment. So, I mean, it's nice to have that. Everybody's got those lagging body parts for you competitors out there. And even if you don't compete, you probably have an area of your physique you would like to improve. Might be a good idea to throw that on a training day, something like that, where that is the muscle you're training. So there's two. You got two. You got any more, Kayleen? Because I got more, but I don't want to talk forever and burn myself out over here. No.
Well, you go for it. You go on ahead.
All right, cool. So I got more. It's also for the people. We touched a little bit on the mental side, talking about it in kind of one perspective, but there's also the other perspective of, the basic mental piece where if you've been doing something for so long, like, you don't want to get into really what I'm trying to say. Let me back this up because, I'm scatterplot over here, but if you've had a bad coach, that's where I'll start. If you've had a bad coach that puts you on some really shitty nutrition protocols, like hamster diet calories, really restrictive stuff.
The mermaid diet.
Mermaid diet. We talk about that shit all the time. It's my favorite. I'm going to make a shirt that says that shit. There's all kinds of chicken and rice 6 times a day, and that's the only thing you eat. That kind of shit. And you got into the mode where that you believe is the only way you can eat. This does happen to people, both in competing and outside of it, where you get stuck in this mode where you're like, this is all there is. This is all I can eat. I have to only eat this. Otherwise, if I eat anything else, if I smell a piece of jelly toast, I'm gaining 20 pounds. It's over. That does happen to people. It gets into the mode where you're so restrictive and you've been that way for so long and you were kind of taught that, conditioned that you don't realize anything is different. You kind of get this fear of eating anything different or being able to eat out or being able to enjoy a meal with your family or anything like that. So refeeds in that situation can kind of unprogram some of that, right? Like where you can get into the zone, basically a better relationship with food overall. Because, we talk about this stuff like you're doing, obviously, a restrictive food protocol for your gut health and stuff like that you're trying to work on. Most people listen to this, hopefully you will, because Kayleen will convince you, but most of you probably are not doing that stuff at this point and, whatever. But like, that's the upper echelon. But basically, we're seeing that you can easily develop, these kind of, I've called them healthy eating disorders in the past and stuff like that, where you can get so restrictive. You think you're doing yourself a favor, but realistically you're doing the worst thing. Like, this chicken and rice diet that I'm talking about, or the mermaid diet, which is basically tilapia and asparagus 6 times a day. This is the kind of shit that will jack you up for a long time, physically and mentally, and in all capacities. And you get into this mode where you don't have a good relationship with food, which is not good, and like I was going to say, because I'm all over the place, like you're doing something restrictive to, for your gut and all this stuff. You don't want to get into a mode where you don't have a relationship with food enough to like just be a normal person every now and then, even if you got serious goals, and I hear that a lot in this industry and in fitness and especially in bodybuilding, where it becomes like some coaches literally say like, you're on chicken and rice 6 times a day for the next year because we're trying to go get a pro card. I want you to get the overall. That's the worst fucking thing you can do for a person, because you know what? The stage goes away, people. One day you won't compete. One day you're going to be in the off season, improvement season. One day the heels get hanged up, the trunks go away, and you don't know how to eat anymore. You're a fucking zombie. So having that relationship with food becomes very important. And I've been talking for about 28 minutes. So Kayleen, jump in on something.
Oh, I will add on to that too. A lot of the times, whether it's the restrictive dieting or the fad dieting, a lot of that. So you eventually do end up eating whatever food that is not on the plan. And then you're like, oh my gosh, this is so delicious. And then you go into binge mode. And then it's like a whole, relationship with that. Whereas if we can allow our athletes to have one meal where they don't have to think of it as like, I even have stopped using the term cheat meal because I don't want to associate that negative connotation to it, because it's like, when we give you the permission to say, hey, go fucking eat, and it's like, I'm not doing like, it takes a shame that maybe if you did have that preconceived notion of like all food is bad, or, all food, not rice and chicken, is bad. When your coach is giving you permission to have it, it allows you to eat it and enjoy it. And of course, if enjoying it, then your parasympathetic system. Oh my gosh, here we go. Parasympathetic, you're in a parasympathetic mode. You're not like stressing about eating it, and you're going to digest it better. And just everything's going to go so much better when you're allowed to, versus like, because at some point you're going to break if you have this mentality that everything else is bad. Like, you're just going to get to a point where you're just like, I'm so fucking exhausted from saying no to all these things that I really want to try. It's probably going to be around like the holidays or something. How many times can you say no to Christmas cookies, really? You know? And then you finally say yes, and then you eat 5,000 of them, and then you feel sick. And then what else? What happens next? Hopefully you don't take repercussions to yourself, like, you know, binging or, you know, purging and restricting. Hopefully, you know, you have a coach that is, you know, realistic and says, hey, you know, shit happens. Let's just get back on it. You don't need to do 5 hours of cardio to make up for that. And you will never find that on Team Flex, a coach that says like, okay, no, just don't eat for like 5 days and, or, you know, do 5 hours of cardio. It's like, we don't do that shit. Like, you fuck up, you know, fuck, what are we going to do? Can't go back in time. Let's just move forward from it. And, you know, so it really helps be a little bit more proactive with those types of things that could happen with people who have a very restrictive diet. Yeah,
staying ahead of the curve. And also, you know, like basically the binge eating thing can become a serious, serious problem, right? Like there's a lot of clients that I've trained over my time as an old man that, you know, basically there's a lot of people that I can't even put on, you know, macros and stuff like that because they've been so mentally damaged from this kind of coaching that is bad and puts you into this binge zone and all this. And, you know, the worst thing becomes when you have a coach that you don't feel like you can communicate with and you can't talk to about things. And so you did end up, you know, last night, midnight, ended up eating a fucking bag of cookies, no problem. It wasn't the mini ones either. It was the full deal cookie.
The full ass cookies.
And you don't say nothing, right? Because it comes down in your brain as, oh, I fucking did something wrong. I'm going to be. It's kind of weird when that kind of stuff happens to people, but it does happen because when you get a coach, you're basically entrusting them with a big part of not just your like fitness, your aesthetics, your weight loss, how you look. You're like entrusting them with your overall health and well-being in a lot of ways too. So it's kind of crazy. That, you know, there's so many bad coaches in the world, and somehow people still sign up with them. But the point is, like, at the end of the day, you want to avoid that kind of stuff at all costs. Because when you get like into that mental zone where maybe you're in a binge zone where now, oh, I ate 7,000 calories last night on accident. Now I'm not going to eat 2-3 days. I'm going to do 6 hours cardio, blah, 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 blah. And coaches even sometimes suggest that, which is just absurd. But like, if you get into that mode, that will take you years to fix. That probably could take therapy to fix. Like that, it goes far beyond, you know, the spectrum of everything else. So it's good to be able to have balance, right? This is like what I've always preached and always built everything on. And Kayleen's obviously become a big part of that as one of the head coaches, but we always preach balance. It's like learn some shit. You know, like we want you to take control of your nutrition. You'll notice Kayleen said earlier in this, she's not telling people, hey, here's what your refeed is. Go to Jack in the Box and get a burger and you get 6 fries with 1 sip of a milkshake. And you can even ask for whipped cream on top if you want. That's not how we do it. You know,
2 tacos, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Get a bunch of them mini tacos and get the bacon shake. But, you know, like...
Talk about gut issues. Brad does not let me eat Jack in the Box tacos. Anyway, go on.
The thing is, though, you know, is it comes down to balance, and then also people being able to control and learn. Like that's always my biggest goal when I have a client is I want them to learn shit about their nutrition. Like think of you, Kayleen. I've been coaching you a while. Back when I started coaching you, like macros, I think were kind of like a newer thing to you, right, at the time.
Oh yeah,
now you're the fucking macro queen, and also like so far into this nutrition shit and gut shit, like it's beyond the level of craziness, right? Because you just went on that path of like obsession where you learned everything, and you know that's like the goal for me. It's like tell people stuff they need to know, let them make decisions, let them learn. Like that's why I'm not a huge fan of meal plans, and I'm getting off track, but. You know, the macros are good because people get to learn from that. They get to learn food choices, how it affects them, how to get balance in that. And then also same with the cheat meals, or, not cheat meals, refeed meals, whatever you want to call it, where now you can go, hey, you know what? Well, last night I ate 28 tacos from Taco Bell and I feel like shit. I'm also shitting my brains out for the next 6 days. Maybe I won't do that one next time. Or maybe you will. Hey, you know what? Do what you want to do with it, because that's the whole point, is like learn that kind of stuff, right? So that's another
create a negative feedback loop, though, after a while, I will say.
Yeah.
From
definitely.
Experience.
Yeah, you will. Oh yeah. You won't do that too long, is what I'm saying. But that's what I mean. You'll learn that piece. Who's the other person? I was thinking of somebody else that this is really relevant for, but I have so many.
We talked about shit too much.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Else? I mean, it's everybody, but
we can talk about who maybe not, and then maybe circle back, because this is a circle back episode.
Yeah, let's go to who does not need a refeed. That's good. That's where we need to go. Thank you, Kayleen. Let's head there. Give me one.
So, I have a client. I don't know that this person listens to the podcast, but she had posted a couple weeks ago that she got her first official refeed meal from me, and she was so stoked about it. We've been working together for almost 2 years now, but this dear client of mine would always fuck around on her diet like every single week. So it's like she wouldn't be consistent with her macros. So I was not able to give her a refeed because I wouldn't know what her week was going to look like. Were you going to stay on track? Were you not going to stay on track? So until she had several very, very, very consistent weeks, I finally got to the point we're kind of coasting into her show at this point. She stayed pretty lean in her mini improvement season. So we've still got like about probably 12 weeks now until her next show. So now she's sticking to her macros during the week. I can give her these refeeds each week, but I was not giving them to her whole. I mean, again, I've been working for a year and a half with her. Not a single refeed, because she was not executing Monday, like 7 days a week. I need you to be executing every single day. You can't be sneaky bites, no sneaky licks, track everything, hit your goals, do it ahead of time. But if you are not doing that, you're not going to get a refeed from me. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. Consistency becomes the number one variable, right? Because this is a sign of good coaching. People listening, if you've had a bad coach before, a lot of coaches don't give a shit, about that kind of thing, and they'll just throw shit at you. Here, do this. Here, we're going to adjust macros. We're going to add more cardio. This didn't look like this. Realistically, when you're training somebody and you're doing it the right way, you want to know down to each level, like what the predetermined outcome is going to be. You don't want to just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. It's much more about, hey, like Kayleen, for example. Obviously, I just use you because I coach you and you're here anyway. And
that's fine.
People know who the fuck you are, so that's good. But like Kayleen will send check-ins sometimes, and I'll know. Like after this weekend, she just checked in today, and I know this weekend we had a predetermined she was going to eat some other things because she's going on the new protocol with the stuff, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to change her damn calories or macros today, people. And I'm not going to change the cardio or the training, because why would I do that? If I did do that, I was being fucking stupid, because at the end of the day, I know that I'm not getting 100% accurate result today. So I can't say, hey, you know what, Ghoul, let's up calories. No, let's slash calories. Let's up cardio. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say, great. What did I say? I said, hey, okay, cool. Here's where we're at. Everything, blah, blah, blah. And I want to see how the rest of the week goes, how things bounce out by, check in, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And we'll go from there. So that, if you got a coach that's not randomly just changing shit to appease you in your mindset of like, am I doing enough? Well, then you probably got a good coach. But, that's the kind of situation where you can get very far into the whole process of being just lost in what you're supposed to be doing, where you're supposed to be going, and how to do it. So that's one person. Consistency, people. That's where you want to be. You got to be consistent. Otherwise, we can't make decisions.
Yeah, I'd say maybe another person who shouldn't do refeeds is just one who hasn't got a handle on the refeed yet, like turning a cheat meal into a cheat weekend. Because it can be kind of tricky to just limit yourself and not completely go off the rails. It takes a lot of mental fortitude. Sometimes I think it's even harder, especially for, either lifestyle people or people who are in improvement season for competition. Like when you're in prep, the blinders are on, you can say no to things all day long.
Yeah.
But like when you're not training for anything in specific, you don't have your goal. Like, yes, you have these goals, but they're so abstract that you can't really it really takes having a solid goal, having visions all around, whether it's like on my phone, like Ryan made me this really cool pro card for my background. Like my goals are front and center. So even in this improvement season, it has been awesome. It has been awesome because like every time I go to check my phone, which is a fucking lot, guys, like I see like manifestation, but when, and I can say on my own behalf, I can talk about me too, because it's me. It hasn't always been like that. I mean, I'd say over the last 3 years, my improvement seasons have been actual improvement seasons. And if I would have done this from the get-go, I probably would have been a pro by now. But that's okay, because we all live and we learn, and I regret nothing. But I was one that would probably take, a cheat meal and turn it into like a cheat weekend, no problem. It's like, oh, I already had this. Let's just get ice cream. And tomorrow brunch. And then, okay, diet starts Monday. If you are one of those people who can't keep it to one untracked meal a week, then maybe we need to work on some mindset work before we start implementing those refeeds.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes you're not in the right zone to be able to do that. And that comes down to communication with your coach too. Because I would say that, most of the time still when we're coaching people, we're going to be giving them those type of things. But it comes down to you to say, hey, yeah, the Friday thing you said it was cool to do. I turned it into Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if you don't say that, again, no information that you have a coach that can make a good call on, and that can actually throw coaching off a fucking lot, people. Like if you're not communicating with your coach, or you're doing shit otherwise, you're sneaking extra cardio, changing workouts, eat more than or less or whatever, then your coach is sitting there racking their fucking brain like, why isn't this happening? And then you're going down it's like trying to drive somewhere you've never been with your Google fucking maps and you have no service. Like, you know what? You might get there, but likely you're not getting there. So that's really key, is to make sure you communicate. And I think that's a huge part. And, knowing that you can communicate with your coach and it's not going to be a reprimand session or, you get 18 demerits or some bullshit. Like at the end of the day,
50 lashes.
Which unfortunately it's a lot of coaches, but it doesn't need to be that way. And I think you'll get better results without that. So that's a really good example there. Here's the other one. This one, let's see. So this time, I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase this. You might not need a refeed if I don't know how I want to say it.
I'm so waiting on the edge of my chair.
Shit. So all you people out there dieting, trying to lose weight, whatever capacity that is, maybe you have a lot of weight you want to lose, you got a little you want to lose. If you're sitting down right now or standing, whatever, look down at your fucking stomach. If you look down at your fucking stomach and you like what you see, hey, you know what? Maybe you go get a fucking refeed. If you look down at your stomach and you don't like what you see, then maybe it's time to take your goals a little bit more seriously, okay? Because at the end of the day, those of you out there, it's easy to get caught into the refeed zone of thinking like, oh, just because I can, I should. No. That's not necessarily true. The stuff that we talked about early in this podcast, like, slowdowns of metabolism and slowdowns of hormones, those are much more likely for people that are very dieted, like really lean already, like lean people that are, doing cardio, training consistently and lean, like trying to do shit like competing and stuff where you're not the average person lean. Most people, though, I don't think you need a fucking refeed if you got a bunch of extra body fat on you that, you want to get rid of. So there's a part where, just do what I said, okay? Next time you're like, fuck, damn, I just saw that Domino's commercial. I want that pizza. Look down at your goddamn stomach. And if you like what you see, then order that motherfucking pizza. If you don't, then maybe it's time to check your shit and keep yourself on track.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with like how quickly you want your results too, because like, yeah, you could lose weight and have a weekly refeed, but you could also lose weight a lot faster if we didn't do the refeed. And then you got to think of it from a health perspective. It's like, do I really need to eat this large pizza all by myself? Probably not. Like, maybe I should just get a salad because I'm going to feel like shit after. So it's like, you know, if you want to get your goals quicker, then, you know, maybe save the refeeds for the anniversaries, the birthdays, not just shooting the shit on the weekend. I mean, that's my opinion. If the goals are serious, because I mean, that's just like a prep. We can have refeeds earlier in the prep, but like when we get closer down to it, could you have refeeds? Maybe, but is it going to help your prep? Maybe is it going to help you lose body weight faster? We'll see. It depends on a lot of different factors. But I mean, my refeeds are cut like 8, 10, 12 weeks out, 6 weeks. It depends on the prep, really. Yeah. But so it
depends on the prep.
Yeah.
And the person. That's the other thing. Individuality, right? I got clients like Kayleen doing one refeed-ish a week. Sometimes we don't do it, right? Sometimes we do. Depends the season, depends the goal, what we're doing. I got clients doing 2 a week. I got clients doing 1 a month. I got clients doing 0. You know, it really depends on the person and where they're at, what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish the goal to. So the refeed might not be for you if it doesn't fit your goal. And that's an interesting thing, right? Because there are people that are, you know, overweight, like, you know, pretty high overweight. Not like I got 10 pounds I want to lose. We're talking like maybe 50, 70, 100 pounds, whatever. And there's people that will fucking go straight into their diet and they will not fuck around. Like, they will not cheat on their diet. They will not want to refeed. They will not do any of that shit because they are sick of where they're fucking at. And that type of person doesn't need that. They don't need to be suggested that. And then, you know, there are some people that prefer a little bit more of the balance. They want to live the lifestyle. They just want to enjoy themselves and also get results. That can be done too. And then there's people, you know, that are trying to compete in a fucking sport where everyone judges every single part of your physique. And so you might, you know, again, you got to see where that aligns with your goals. And I think that's the most important kind of thing to look at is individuality of everything. And overall, just understanding what you bring to the table. And another thing I was going to add, one more thing, is your refeed choices will probably change and could too, right? So like we're talking about, refeed starts, you know, when you first start doing them, maybe you're like, fuck yeah, I'm going to eat a whole pizza and then I'm going to eat 6 donuts or I'm going to eat a tub of ice cream, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, the more advanced you get and the further you go and the more progress you get and the more results you have, you probably start changing your perspective on what you eat. So, you know, like competitors, like you said, like you don't need a refeed close to a show. Well, a refeed can sometimes also be not a total blowout of the diet, but just an increase in actual macronutrients. So if you're having oatmeal for breakfast and you're having some rice with dinner, it might be, hey, we're up in the, you know, let's bring up your macros today. Instead of 150 carbs, you're at 280. And so you're eating more oatmeal and you eat more rice. That's another form of a refeed. So again, kind of fits the goal, suits what it's looking for. It comes down to so many different variables, but you know, I think it's time to kind of click Kayleen over too, because if you're still here, by the way, please fucking follow, please subscribe, and thank you. I think it's time to kind of click a little bit into. We talked a lot about refeeds, who it's for, who it's not, maybe. How do you actually fucking do one though? Like, what are your kind of quick tips? I heard you say 1 a week. That's one, right? How do you approach it? What do you tell people to do? And I got some tips too. So let's start.
Yeah, I actually just did a reel on this a little bit ago because I had a client ask me, which made me think of this whole podcast, is because she was like, I gave her a refeed and she was like, so how do I approach this refeed? She's just a lifestyle client. So I told her, I said, just treat the rest of the day as normal. And just, you know, have your afternoon where you're eating whatever you want. Now, this is someone who doesn't have any specific, like, super crazy weight loss goals. Yes, we want to lose a little bit of weight, but, like, no timeline or anything. So I gave her this advice. Now, when I'm competing personally, when I'm within that range where I need to start tightening it up, you know, basically 12, 16, 18 weeks out, if I do get a refeed, I will prioritize a lot of my protein in the morning because usually I'm going out to dinner. So I'll have, so maybe like instead of like my oatmeal post workout, I won't do my oatmeal or, you know, some of my carb heavy things, or maybe I'll swap my rice for like green beans, get a lot of fiber and protein in the morning, because if I'm going out somewhere, chances are it's all going to be carbs and fats and a little bit of protein, but like really they skimp on the protein. So again, depends on what your goals are. If we're just leisurely losing fat, you can pretty much treat the rest of your day as normal. But if you want to take your results a little bit to the next level, I just say prioritize, protein in the morning, maybe save some of your carbs and fats for dinner. And that's how I do it.
Yeah, and so you're saying for most clients 1 a week kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Coach approved, of course.
Cool. Yeah, nice. So I was going to say a couple hacks for those of you out there that might be having a hard time with it. Like we talked about, people that can easily fall into the pattern of doing too many days when it was supposed to be one meal kind of thing. This is a hack that I've used a lot that I find works for most people. For one, you never do a fucking refeed in your own house, okay? That's the first one. Like, you make it a fucking extravagant thing. Like, you're going to spend too much money. You're going to have made plans and gone somewhere. You kind of want to make it a little bit inconvenient in a sense, but so you can enjoy it while you're there, but not want to do it every fucking day kind of thing. So I tell people not to do refeeds. I haven't told you this obviously because I know what the fuck you do, Kayleen, but I tell people that might have those issues, like, hey, don't do a refeed in your house. Go to a fucking restaurant, something like that. Pick the restaurant in town that costs too much. You don't want to spend that money. And you're going to go there and you're going to hang out and, friends, family, whatever. That's your gig. And what I say is you sit at the table and eat whatever the fuck you want at that point. I don't tell people, people ask me, does that include dessert? I don't give a fuck what you do. You sit at that table. There's only so much you can do at one table that a restaurant will allow, or that you will pay for, or that your stomach will not explode for. Okay? Do whatever you want. Order the appetizer, the entree, the fucking dessert, have drinks. I don't care. As soon as your ass is at that seat, you're fucking done. You're back on your shit. You walk out that door and you can barely walk because you hate yourself now. You get your shit in the car. You drive home. Every turn's making you a little nauseous because oh shit. Then you get on the home and you can lay on the couch and like, fuck, I can't do anything with my life now. Now you're back on track. That's the whole thing. So I think those are pretty useful tactics for pretty much anyone, but especially if you have the issue with the binge thing. Because what happens if you start doing this shit at home? Like you just order a pizza in from DoorDash or something's coming here and there. And now you can do that all the time. Don't do that shit. Go somewhere and spend too much money, eat all the shit you want, and get your shit back on track right after. And I find that is pretty successful for most people. So that would be a good hack. And, frequency, like you said, it's generally 1 a week. But again, like I said, I got people that do 2. Mm-hmm. That's rare. That's more rare. It's probably more common that it's not even 1 a week, though. I would be honest. I would have a lot of clients that I don't give a shit about your refeed right now. And, this is the other thing that I didn't really give people back then because I'm a cyclone. I'm like these hurricanes that keep happening all over the fucking country. I just keep spinning out in the ocean until I hit land again. The thing I was going to say is, damn it, now I lost it with my fucking hurricane analogy. Shit. Hold on. No, what I was going to say. No, I really lost it. I think it's gone now. So this podcast is too much caffeine and gone too long. It's over. It's over. It's over.
It was the people who don't ever get refeeds? Like you don't give a shit about people's refeeds.
Yeah. I don't know. I lost it again. This is like the 4th time I've lost it because every time I get it, you're talking or... Now I've talked myself out of it with hurricane.
Sounds like you're having some brain fog. Maybe we can run some tests, Ryan.
Yeah. I know what it is. It's this fucking Monster Energy drink I have in my hands right now.
Maybe you should hydrate. Get some water in your fucking system.
Fucking water. But anyway, that's the end of it, So I think really all in all, what you got to understand is that refeeds are individual. You got to know when you need them, when you don't, and also how it relates to your goal. And pretty much overall, just, remember, you might not fucking need one. You probably don't. In a lot of cases, you don't. You might,
And this is why I will never coach myself too. Like, delegate that shit to somebody else. Don't be in charge of making your own food decisions, because more than likely you're going to be lenient to yourself and be like, oh yeah, I deserve this refeed meal. Get an outside opinion in. Even if it's just the nutrition coaching, we do offer just nutrition coaching at Team Flex if you can't afford both the training and nutrition. Yeah. Although we highly recommend you work both together, because they're just like, they fit better together. You'll get better results if you can merge your training and your nutrition together. But I understand times are crazy right now. But yeah, if you want either of those services from any of us on the team, hit us up. We got 7 days free. You can try it out. Just the training is in the trial. But I mean, you can work legit with one of our coaches for free. Maybe it's me, maybe it's Ryan, maybe it's Haley, Lillian, Maura. We've got so many coaches these days. Brianna. So yeah, I think did we hit it all? I thought this was going to be a short one, but here we are, just under an hour. I mean,
honestly, it could be longer, but I'm sure people are tired of hearing me spin around by now. So yeah, we'll call that one good. We may do more on this. So we definitely got more podcasts coming. So make sure you subscribe. If you do try any of this stuff that we're talking about, let us know how it goes. Okay, let us know how it goes. And also, if you have ideas of what you want us to talk about, let us fucking know. That too. I guess that's it then.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, we'll see if we can get it again next week. If I can, convince Ryan to record again next week.
Damn, that's my least favorite part of the episode every time, right there.
So when I blackmail you into recording next week.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm like, shit.
It's happening. It's happening, people. All right. So let us know what you want in the comments, and we'll see you next week.